lager, sorry.
No, it's not, because it's not made with any adjuncts.
Right.
It would not fall under American Premium Lager. It's not even American. It's made in America, but oh, here we are. Hello, folks. Greetings, world. Tonight we're examining Beck's beer. Beck's beer originated in Bremen, Germany, in 1874. Now I know it's saying 73. Here's the story on that. The company was founded in 73, but I don't think they actually started producing beer until 74. It doesn't really matter, I'm sure.
Right.
It's been around for quite a long time. Now, I'm going to introduce everybody in a minute, but also about Beck's. The company was bought out. The family owned Beck's until 2002, when it was bought by Interbrew, which is now Anheuser-Busch InBev.
There you go. I can see why.
And there's a lot of varieties of Beck's. We get a few over here in America. The Beck's non-alcoholic, the Beck's Light, the Beck's Oktoberfest. Eric, you got to pick up that echo. It's coming from somewhere. We get the Beck's Sapphire. But in Europe, there's an enormous amount of Beck's beer produced. Different varieties, you know, light, radlers, flavored beers. It's a huge company, and they have brewery tours. It'd be fascinating to go. Another thing, Bremen is in northern Germany, and it's a city, and it's also a state. It's a city-state. They own some land.
Hey, Jay,
Yeah.
don't they make a Beck's called Beck's Asian also?
It's possible. It's incredible, all these beers that these companies make. And we just get a handful. Now, here's who we have so far. Myself from Louisiana. We have Beer Cub and Michelle Stitches from Wyoming. We have Beer Zerker from the great country of Canada.
Oh, Canada.
I'll be there next week.
Founded before Beck's. We have Brandon Burrell from Mississippi, Jean from Alabama, Paul from Texas, the Woodlands, originally from Louisiana. We have John and Charles from Indiana. We have Keone, our newest member. Everybody, welcome Keone. He is from Southern California. And Keone, you found out about this because you watched my videos, right?
Yeah.
And he said it would be cool to join, and I agree with that.
Awesome.
Aloha.
We have Eric.
Aloha.
Nate's father, I can't remember his name. I really apologize. Mr. Carhell.
Dave.
Mr. K.
Dave,
right. Oh, I feel so ashamed. All right. No, I do. I mean, I don't like when I can't remember people's names, but then it's hard to remember. We appreciate Mr. Dave being back, and they're from Massachusetts. So we have our whole... Oh, you hear that echo?
Not know where it's coming from.
Yeah, somebody might want to turn down their mic. Big problem.
So we're going from coast to coast.
Coast to coast, north to south, east to west. International group with Beer Zerker. If it wasn't for the time problem, we'd have probably Stuart and maybe his brother from England and some other English and Australians, but you know, the world is round, they say, so it's hard to do it. All right, anyway, Beck's is a Pilsner. It's 5% alcohol. It has 146 calories. It is brewed in America now since InBev became this huge conglomerate. It's obviously more efficient to brew stuff in the home country. You don't have to pay the shipping and the import-export taxes if those exist, and you ensure freshness. But it's brewed, you know, strictly according to their Beck's original design. Some people say it's gotten worse since they brought it over here. I never could detect any kind of change.
Mine's brewed in Germany, man. Mine's imported from Bremen. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you get getting the German import. Does anybody know why they use the design on the can?
That is the coat of arms for the Free Hanseatic city-state of Bremen.
Correct.
Wow, cool.
Mirror image. They say it's a mirror image of the Bremen state coat of arms.
Cool.
If you notice, guys, on the back of the bottle, there's a thing called Beck's Quality, brewed under the German purity law of 1516.
That's
You
right.
see that on your bottles in the back of it. So.
You rhymed the book.
And that law was amended. Let them add. Now, yeah, I'm hearing background noise. Now, it's won some awards, and it even shows some early awards on the can or bottle. It's saying St. Louis, and then there was a contest in Europe, and they show the medals on there. But they've won many medals since, like 1998, I know they did. They sponsor a lot of art projects over in Germany. There's this Green Box project they've been doing for years where you can, it's kind of like the Beatles with Apple Corps, remember, where they were going to do all this sponsorship of artists, and then they never really did because they didn't feel like spending any kind of time to do anything. But Beck's actually does. And, you know, Pabst Blue Ribbon has been doing that for years and years, doing art projects for people that want to get into that. All right. Well, what do y'all think about this beer? It's pretty famous. It's one of the top selling German beers in the world, and it's one of the top beers in the world.
Go ahead, John.
Well, I was going to say, I remember years ago there was a commercial going back in the 90s that Beck's and Heineken, and maybe just me, naivete, seeing that commercial, I thought they were like under the same conglomerate, you know. They would do commercials together, Beck's, Heineken, you know, I guess because of the style of beer, you know, and also St. Pauli's Girl, if I recall, too. It was something way back in maybe in the late 80s, early 90s, I'm not sure, but, you know.
I don't remember that, but it could have been maybe the importer was doing the promotion to promote their German beers. Yeah, Heineken also started, I think it was 1873, right? Mm-hmm. St. Pauli Girl's a newer beer that Beck's put out for the American market. Oh, man.
Yeah, I don't know why. Every time I see Beck's, I think of Heineken also.
Me too.
They're very similar. They use 2-row barley malt, Tyler hops.
They were kind of marketed at the same time. They were sort of like the first of the kind of premium beers outside of the American lagers that I remember as a kid, you know.
I remember this from, I guess, when I started drinking beer in '96. I don't really remember it before that, but I wasn't paying attention, you know, Paul.
Yeah.
Now, where did you find it? You didn't have any trouble finding it, huh?
An HEB. Well, I got it at Specs, but they had it at HEB too. They had it everywhere.
Yeah, it's pretty common. I bought this big can at Circle K gas station. So, and then I bought the bottle at Rouse's. Okay, well, let's see. We'll go down the line and let people give their thoughts on it. Let's go with Eric's. If you get muted, it's because Eric's testing out the echo and he's trying to see the source of it. He's very good at doing that. Now,
no offense to anybody.
And I do have that 1996 Rush album test for echo. I could mention that.
Okay. Love it.
Fantastic album. You can roll that. You can roll that stone to the top of the hill. All right, now.
Thank you.
Keone,
yeah.
What do you think about Beck, sir?
It's kind of like almost like a bready taste. You don't taste that grassy taste like you would with any other adjunct lager you would drink. I know this ain't an adjunct, but
it sure is
it's
not.
Really good to me. It has a subtle bitterness to it. It's really clear, like Budweiser, you would say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you enjoying it?
Yeah, I actually really like it. I didn't have Heineken for a while, but I think this is a little more subtle than Heineken.
I'd have to do a side-by-side. What do you think, Beer Cub and Michelle Stitches?
I don't drink Beck's real often, but I personally enjoy the Euro style lagers and the German Pilsners. So I mean, to me, it's pretty much even with all those. There are probably other ones that I like better, like Carlsberg or Grolsch or Sterpromen, but Beck's is fine as well.
Style of Ramen. That's such a wonderful beer. And they make so many varieties, and we only get one. Michelle, I know this is not your style.
It's not my cup of tea, so I'm not a fair judge because of the style. But it's okay. I can drink it. So.
But you wouldn't be looking for it.
Nah.
But okay, that's fair because I will say that about wheat beers. I just don't really like wheat beers, but on its own merits, for a style you don't like, the Pilsner style, do you think it's okay or you don't think it's like junk or anything? I mean, I'm not sure.
I mean, people are going to shoot me for saying this. I would just as soon have a PBR. I mean,
I love PBR.
I like PBR.
I'm gonna
It's
shoot
one
you
of
for
the few
PBR. I
beer-
love PBR.
This is one of the few beers in that sort of category that I actually enjoy. So I wouldn't pay extra for a Beck's if I could get a 99-cent PBR draft.
Yeah, okay. I just find the Beck's has a little grassy or hop flavor that I like. But hey, Brandon says shotgun that PBR. Don't shoot it. We're going up to the Dominion of Canada, the Commonwealth realm. Yesterday was the Queen's birthday, Beer Circle.
Oh, I missed it.
Did they deliver the mail on that day?
Oh yeah, no, nobody in Canada even noticed.
Oh, okay.
It's not like what you think, maybe. Yeah.
I was just giving you a little hard time. But Beer Zerka does a lot of interesting videos. He has an interesting presentation, we could say. Now, you're sort of a berserker type person. What do you think about this beer?
I actually like it. This one's tasting like it's got a little bit too much age on it, but I got it in the can here, so it's not light struck. I got that on purpose. I had the option of getting it in a quite large bottle. But I do like Euro lagers a lot. I'm not a big American adjunct lager guy, but I really like Lowenbrau and Pilsner Urquell and Gosser and those type of beers because they don't give me a headache, and I just like the taste of them a lot better.
Yeah.
And this one's like kind of introductory and is very unintrusive, but like you said, you still kind of get that bitter Pilsner hop. You get the breadiness. It's very smooth, easy going. I actually really like it. So.
You think it would be like a good introduction to somebody getting into Euro lagers if they only drank like Labatt Blue or something like that?
Well, for sure, yeah, because especially in the can, because you can minus out the bottle skunkage. A lot of people blame the taste of a Euro lager on the green bottle a lot. They say, oh, those European ones are so skunky, but they're just not buying them in a can, So.
Right. Oh, talking about green bottles, Beck's was the first German brewery to put beer in green bottles.
Interesting.
And who was the first company in the world to put beer in brown bottles?
So it wasn't Heineken that started it first, right?
Nope.
Okay.
Y'all know who started brown bottles?
Coors.
Schlitz.
Oh.
In 1912, I believe it was, because they realized it would keep the light from ruining the beer better than green. Okay, now going over, so we got a lot of people to go through. Going over to Brandon. Oh, that echo. All right.
Oh, well, as far as this beer goes, I mean, yeah, it is a good Pilsner style beer. I mean, if you like Pilsner or Kel, you like any sort of other Pilsner out there, definitely Beck's has a lot in common there. Same sort of style, crisp, clean, clear appearance, but it's not an overwhelming hot flavor, but it is there.
Yeah.
It's there. Mine's a month old, so it's still I can still get it. So you can tell it by, if you really want to know how old your beer is from the bottle, go to the date code on the back, and you know how to read it. With 15 is this AB code, the first two numbers of the year, and of course you have the day of the year it was bottled in the brewery in the whatever tank it came from, I guess.
Yeah, I think it is the tank or the line. John, that would help. I mean, John. Yeah. So you look at the back, and it's going to say the year 2015, 15, and then it's going to say the day of the year. Mine was the 58th day of the year, whatever. It's the 85th day of the year, something like that. So it's okay, now I want to hear what, I'm just looking picture to picture. I'm not really going geographically today. What do you think about it, Eric?
Now, just a little itty bitty story here. Well, not really a story, but I do the Massachusetts beer reviews on YouTube, and I was checking my comments the other day, and somebody saw that I reviewed Carlsberg, and they asked me, which one do you like better, Carlsberg or Grolsch? And this beer kind of reminds me of a Carlsberg and a Grolsch and a Heineken and a Pilsner Urquell and a Lowenbrau and those kind of things where, to a certain extent, I mean, I really love Carlsberg. I think a lot of people know that, but I don't really know that I can say that one particular Euro Pale Lager is particularly, better or worse than any other Euro Pale Lager. They all have, a similar thing going on, which is they seem to have a really nice biscuity, malty flavor and a little bit of that grassy hop that I like. And I guess as far as the green bottle is concerned, it's sort of I guess besides getting it in the can, it's trial and error. You may get a really, really fresh tasting one, so you really know what it tastes like, or you may get one bad bottle and say, well, I'm done with this beer. This beer's horrible.
Yeah.
You're unbiased, and you're biased by that.
Yeah, you're right. I think, and Eric, don't you think the reason they're so similar is because like all the companies have pretty strict quality controls, so it's like none of those ones that you mentioned is putting out really trashy stuff. So
yeah, exactly, especially these German companies where they already in their not even just because it's beer, but they have it in their laws that say it's got to be hops, water, yeast, and malt, and that's all this beer can be, and they're going to be very, very strict about that stuff.
Yeah.
But I think it's an excellent beer, and I don't mind paying the $9 or $8.99 for a six-pack every now and then. It's a good change of pace from light lagers and adjuncts in America for sure.
Yeah. Talking about cans, I have a friend in Denmark, and he sent me a can of Carlsberg and a can of Carlsberg Elephant. That's the only time I ever had Carlsberg and Carlsberg Elephant in a can. Pretty neat. Okay,
yeah,
now
in America.
No, I had never seen it. It cost him a lot of money. Now, Jean, what do you think about this beer, Jean Pierre from O'Neill?
Like everybody, this beer kind of, in the same category with Heineken, the Pilsner one, and also a little bit of the Stella Artois. And I know that this beer and Stella are under the same umbrella. But if I have to pick up the three, I would lean more towards Heineken, then probably Beck's, maybe Stella. It has the same taste. It's a very, has that sort of kind of, to me, there's a little similarity between this beer and also Heineken for me. But they're still good, but I would lean more towards Heineken because it's been around, I know it, and I've grown up around it. That's my father's favorite beer, actually. That's all he drinks is Heineken. So even now at his age, but it's a pretty decent beer. I paid about $8.99 for this beer too, here where I'm at, and it's not bad to me.
I'd like to see somebody do a blind taste test with all the beers you listed. I don't know if anybody could really tell them apart, because I do those blind taste tests almost every time. I cannot tell the beers apart. And you're thinking to yourself, "Oh, I know I can tell them apart."
Yeah, but it's kind of tough.
You might be able to tell Westphal Pilsner from those beers. You might. That's sort of the similar style, but I think it's different enough. Maybe it's different enough. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe. Now, we're going to get to Nate. Nate's got a little technical problem. Now, John, Sharon, and Charles, over there in Indiana.
I'm gonna agree a little bit with what John said. This is almost, I don't think you can do a side-by-side comparison and tell the difference between this and the Heineken. I don't think I could. It's got that kind of green bottle funk to it, kind of metallic-y taste on the back side of the palate. It's an enjoyable beer, but I'm glad I bought two
because of what?
I said I'm glad I only bought two.
So you're not a huge fan of it, in other words.
I'm not saying I'm not a fan. It's just not. It's got that green bottle funk to it. that I don't care for, and really a real strong metallic at the end. And I'm not a big fan of it. I won't lie to you.
Okay.
All right, so I'm on the flip side of John. I'm digging this beer. I'm a big Pilsner Urquell fan myself, and just like Beer Zerker said, this is a good introductory into a good German Pilsner and other German Pilsners. Would I buy this again? Yeah.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying, and I agree with you. I'm really with Charles. I really like it. Now, I cannot say that it's better than any of those on the list, but I love all those on the list. All right. Nate says, Nate's system crashed. He says, well, it's an all right beer. It was very skunky for us. The bitterness was definitely a flavor we picked up on. He says, I almost detected a slight sweetness to it. Yes, I agree. Not an adjunct, but it's weird. Not bad. Kind of nice. Okay, so... Okay, Brandon. All right, now, Paul, and I didn't go to you last because I was trying to ignore you. I went to you last because you're last on what I'm looking at. What do you think, Paul?
Oh, did Paul crash as well?
He had to pee.
Everybody's crashing, but he already said he was enjoying it, right?
Yeah.
He said he'd been drinking on it all week because he bought a six-pack. So, I mean, he said he liked it. And Paul's really kind of open-minded about it, but he'll rip on some beers too. So he's not going to just sit there and say everything's great either.
Yeah. No, I don't want you to take me wrong and defriend me, Jay. I'm not really ripping. I didn't care for the green bottle taste on it.
I got another green bottle.
Yeah, you think, John, if you'd have had a can version, you'd have had a much better experience?
Yes, I do, but I couldn't find a can. I actually looked for the cans.
I bet if I crack open that green bottle, it might be skunk. But I was glad, though, because when I bought my tall 22-ounce bottle, and the can is a better deal because you're getting 3 extra ounces, right? But the bottle I bought was shoved to the back of the shelf, and it was in the shade the whole time, so I think it was not in the light, so it might be okay. I love the label. It's a sharp-looking label. I
like the key. I like the key part of the label. That's real nice.
I think the key. I think their slogan or something along the line. It's something along the lines of like unlock the key to flavor or something crazy like that.
Yeah, and I think Bremen, the state of Bremen, uses a key on their emblem because Bremen is a port city. And it's sort of like the key to the Baltic Sea for trade. One of the cities that trade with the Baltic world,
right?
So it's like an entrance into Germany sort of thing. Now, I wanted to ask Beer Zerker. Hey, Beer Zerker, how much does this beer cost in Alberta?
Oh, I didn't even look. I think it was it was under $3.
Oh, so not bad.
Effects finally kicked in. Yeah. I actually had to look around quite a bit to find it. I had to go on Liquor Connect and search it out, and luckily there was one down the street from where I was shopping, and I was able to get it. So in a can, which is what I wanted.
What size can?
500 ml.
Okay. That's
from Germany.
I wonder how many ounces that is. 500 milliliters. Oh, I know how much it is. It's 16.9 ounces. Okay.
Yeah. It's the bigger super can.
Paul is claiming he got booted and it won't let him back in now.
He didn't get booted. I'll invite him again.
Okay.
I mean, he might have gotten booted, but it wasn't from me, of course.
Right. That's what I'm thinking. But anyways, on to beer.
Any final thoughts on this beer? It's not like the greatest thing in the world, but then on the other hand, if you notice, the company doesn't say that. They just, if you look at their website and all, it's just talking about it's enjoyable, it's a good beer for hanging out at a club or with friends watching a soccer game, stuff like that. It's not like, it's sort of like Budweiser in a way. It's not for like deep speculative, all the subtle nuances of the 16 different hops and 8 malts, and you know what I mean? It's not made for that kind of thing.
Yeah, they say
grapefruit and citra hops.
Oh, right. Not like West. Yeah. It's not like the best Latron 12. It's made for chugging. Yeah, it really is made.
Yep.
He's right, though. Brandon's right. It's made for chugging. I was drinking this so fast. I mean, I had to put the can back in the fridge. So it is, to me, the drinkability is astronomical. You know?
It will refresh the palate. It will refresh the palate after a blast of wasabi. Okay.
Yeah, kind of like you said, Eric, that's what it is. Kind of like Oriental food, sushi, Chinese food, something you can have, or is that beer that you sit down at a club or you're talking to some guy like, well, good evening, how are you, sir? You know, kind of very upscale type of beer to drink. You know.
Right.
So you're saying it's a foo-foo beer.
No.
Right. That's what it is.
No. I don't think that's the case
at all. What he's saying is, like, if you were at some dive bar, you might drink Pabst Blue Ribbon or Old Milwaukee. They might have it, you know, in a can.
Bush beer.
They used to have a bar like that in my town. They had they only sold cans, and they were for $1. It was called Moe's Bar. And,
Moe's Tavern.
You know, it's feel funny behind, they had Pabst Blue Ribbon. They used to have Dixie beer, stuff like that. You know, but it wasn't. Everybody's wearing T-shirts or they might have come out the spillway swamp covered with mud. They just went crawfishing. You know. All right, but John's talking about if you were for a business lunch. And you got like a little jacket on, and you're at a restaurant like Galatoire's or something. You might order Beck's, you know. And they're gonna bring it in a bottle, you know. They're not gonna bring it in a 25-ounce can, you know.
Exactly.
Yummy.
I call these.
Is that same AJ? Is that same restaurant where you ask for you're in the same restaurant asking them a Pabst Blue Ribbon, you're like, excuse me, what's that?
They probably throw you out the restaurant. It might make you leave. Ask you to leave.
Right.
I call these golf course
Out the door,
beers.
please.
Golf course beers. Yeah,
There's
like
a country club.
If you went to the country club, they might have Beck's, Heineken. They're gonna have Michelob Ultra, of course, because all the golfers drink Michelob Ultra. They'll have Blue Moon, and those guys will say, "Oh, we're drinking really good beer," and they're probably not really into beer. They're not gonna sit there and say, "Oh, I waited in line at 4 in the morning for KBS." I mean, those people are not gonna.
Whoa! Wait a minute.
KBS.
You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna.
How you doing?
All right, now let's see. Michelle's right. I think this beer would go so well with really spicy Indian food or Chinese or Vietnamese or Mexican, right?
Anheuser-Busch fact sheet is talking about. They're saying that this is the perfect accompaniment to sushi, cutting through fatty tuna or salmon and refreshing the palate after a blast of wasabi. Is also wonderful alongside German classic fare such as the bratwurst or the Schweinhaxen. Yeah.
Oh, no joke, Eric. If I was eating like some German Jewish bread with some bratwurst or knockwurst, or and I'll put that German mustard or the Creole mustard on it, and some sauerkraut, and some like German potato salad. Oh, I could go to town with this beer. Now, Keone, what do you think? What would you pair it with?
I think this beer could pair with a lot of things because it's so like neutral. It's not like I know some other stronger beers like the craft beers you probably would have to throw it with something special. But I could see drinking this like they were saying Chinese food. Like I could see like Panda Express or something like that. Definitely. And not to be off topic, but I wanted to share something. I noticed they changed the label slightly on the neck. It used to be like this foil, you could scrape it off, but now it's like a sticker.
Oh, yeah. That's
correct. Yes.
That's cheap. That's chinchy. I like the foil, man. It doesn't even taste as good without the foil. No, Eric, you're right. A Reuben sandwich. Oh, with some kosher pickles.
Hell yeah.
I think it would pair nice with a salmon patty and macaroni and cheese.
Macaroni. I don't know about salmon, but macaroni and cheese. Or how about a tuna salad sandwich?
Yep, it would go good with a tuna salad sandwich.
So potato chips, the ruffle cut. Well, anyway, enough food, parents. We're all getting hungry. But, He says take this beer with bacon wrap, meatloaf, and mashed potatoes with brown gravy. I could definitely.
Yummy.
General shows
Definitely.
smoked meat from Quebec, shrimp lo mein. Yeah. And Brandon says that's Anheuser-Busch InBev cutting corners. You're right. and really, I don't like that. I mean, I don't mind what Brandon said. I don't like the cutting corners. Go with the foil. But you know, this guy Carlo Brito, he's the CEO of InBev. He is like relentless in cutting corners. Like he probably doesn't cut corners on the quality of the beer, but he like can't stand any kind of waste because they go around buying companies that are real wasteful. You know, they waste a lot of money on stuff, and they did that with Budweiser. They were wasting so much money. But I mean, sometimes I think you got to keep the nice things like the foil.
How much does the owner you just mentioned, Jay? How much does he own Anheuser-Busch? Does he own all of it, or just a certain percentage?
100%.
Okay, I mean, they still produce a lot of beer, so I don't understand how cutting corners. To me, I think they're still putting out a lot of beer out there.
Well, here's what he talked about. He said that when they bought Anheuser-Busch in 2008, they noticed that the company had all kind of problems, like they were so wasteful. In other words, all these middle management people had a company car. And he's like, why do all these people have company cars? I don't even have a company car. If you want to work, drive your own car. You know, so they got rid of all the company cars. Yeah. And then they were giving away like 2 and 3 cases of beer for each employee every week. Everybody. He was like, why are all these employees getting all this free beer? This is insane. You know, it's like, so now you can only get 2 cases of beer a month if you work for Anheuser-Busch InBev.
My brother subcontracts for Anheuser-Busch. I mean, he's a truck driver, so you know he gets the 1 or 2 beers, but most of the beers that he's not really big on Bud. He tends to buy Sam Adams or any craft beer. So
yeah,
that's my truck.
Let me say this.
They were wasting so much money though, John. I mean, he just basically cut a lot of the crap out of it. But then they kind of went overboard with some stuff, I guess. But
hey, Jay.
Yeah.
The company that I used to work for used to provide all the office furniture for Budweiser in St. Louis, and I had to go out there one time over some quality issues. And when the main guy landed his helicopter from his house on the roof, there was a door down the hallway. Nobody could be in that hallway when he walked to his office. You had to be inside of a door or inside of a hallway somewhere off that hallway. You could not be in that hallway when his helicopter landed.
What?
Yeah, it was really
treated like a king.
Yeah, it was a company that was on the way out.
Becoming under split.
It did insane, stupid stuff, and I read about this. I mean, they all had to drive all these limousines everywhere, like to go inspect the hops. They would drive like 10 limousines out to this farm, this big production. We're coming to look at the hops. Carlos Brito said, you don't need to do all that stupid stuff. Just go look at the hops. Hire a scientist. All you want to do is just like prance around and like show off. And like all their bottles were real expensive, and they cut. You know, they made a lot thinner bottles and thinner 12 packs, and the company was very bloated, and they were going to wind up like another Schlitz, like gone. You know what I mean? So he in a way, he was right. He had to do this, although he probably didn't want to. You know, like they used to make the Michelob hourglass bottles and all that. They just had to stop it. It was just like insane things they were doing, and it was not cost effective at all. Now, enough of that. Back to Beck's. I like it. I mean, if somebody asked me should they try it, I would say yeah, try it. I mean, you'll probably enjoy it. It's not the greatest thing, but it's way far from the worst thing. There's no doubt about it.
To me, it wasn't the greatest beer I've had. I mean, it's been about 4 years since I've had this beer. I mean, it was a good beer, and I've spent a whole lot more money on a whole lot worse beers.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I give like $1.39 a piece for 2 of them. I got my money's worth, I think.
Yeah, but you're not obligated to adore it or anything.
No. I mean, I don't adore the beer. I think it's a good beer. Do I think it's a great beer? No.
Okay.
Somebody hand me one, I'd drink it again.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we looked at it. We examined it. We do have an examination coming up of Beck Sapphire on May 13th. Is anybody interested in examining Beck Sapphire?
I'm down.
Probably not.
The first time I tried that was at the Anheuser-Busch Brewery in Merrimack, New Hampshire, and I found that beer to be surprisingly very, very good. So I'm looking forward to that one again.
I think it's a very good beer. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
What's the difference between Beck's Sapphire and regular Beck's? Besides, it's probably in a blue bottle.
No. I'll tell you what it is, Michelle. Beck's Sapphire was developed about 2 years ago. It's a 6% alcohol, so it's a lot stronger. It's an amber-colored beer, right, Eric? It's sort of amber-colored.
Yeah.
It's made with saffron hops.
Ah, so
it's a relatively new beer, isn't it? Like maybe a couple years old to most.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's correct.
Is it anything like the dark Heineken?
It's sort of like
I think it's
Sapphire is sort of like the Budweiser Black Crown.
I'm just going to say that, yes.
They use
the Black
saffron
Crown
hops.
and the Black Crown and the Sapphire and the Bud Light Platinum, all coming from Anheuser-Busch, are all in that 6% ABV.
And Miller Fortune.
Miller Fortune is, it's a little stronger.
Coors Altitude.
Oh, yeah, you get the Coors Altitude up there in Alberta, right?
Damn.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah. Aluminum bottles.
Well, I don't think we'll ever get that one, but it'd be interesting to try it.
I'll have to find it in Canada.
Yeah, look for it, Eric. Now, next week, we're looking at a fascinating beer to me.
It's good.
Read about it. It's really fascinating. It's originated in Japan in 1990, and it's called Kirin Ichiban Shibori, or what we just call it Kirin Ichiban.
He's got it. Uh-oh.
The regular Kira Ichiban,
That's right.
whatever it is.
That's right. Shibori means first press.
I can get that with
I have
a
my
six-pack of that.
Yeah, go check out Kirin Ichiban. It's from Japan, and it is produced currently in Los Angeles, California.
Yeah, we can get
All right.
that.
Any last comments? I'm sorry some of y'all had technical problems. I had no part in booting people out. I just think their system failed.
Nate says that, oh my God, what did he say? Nate says, I'd give it a thumbs up, by the way, this Beck's beer.
Oh, good.
So Nate is a fan of the beer.
I'm sorry we weren't able to talk to him because his father, Mr. David, always has so many interesting comments.
We'll see if we can reconvene with him in a couple of minutes.
Yeah. Now, Brandon says, what are we looking at after Kirin Ichiban? Okay.
I have Blue Moon written down.
Yeah, May 6th, Blue Moon, the original. May 13th, Beck Sapphire. May 20th, Michelle's idea of when did you start drinking beer.
Awesome idea.
Which one is that? Which one is that, Jay?
May 20th, Michelle came up with this idea. When did you start drinking beer?
Oh, okay.
I don't know what happened.
The whole story of how did you get into beer, you know.
Are we looking at maybe what beers we started out drinking? Is that what we're going to do?
Now, when did you start drinking beer?
Okay. I'm gonna bring
that will be a long conversation for everybody.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I believe so too.
May 27th is a Budweiser Select. Not Select 55. We're not even going to waste our time on that one. And then into June we got Third Shift. Natty Daddy, what you know about that? And Grolsch.
Nice.
Grolsch. Yes. And I even have into July Boston Ale, Samuel Adams Boston Ale, and Samuel Adams Cream Stout.
What natty daddy you guys gonna do? 8 or 6%?
Either one, whatever you want to roll with.
Hey.
Hey, Keone, did you enjoy doing this with us?
Yeah, it was really cool.
All right. And we appreciate it, and we'll keep inviting you. I don't know what happened to Eric Anderson. He looked like he was ready to roll, and then he just, bam.
He was talking about, oh my God, what was he talking about? He was talking about it just sort of shut down on him. Everybody's having these internet issues today.
See, I had trouble getting on myself.
Yeah, that's very strange. Oh
Hey
well.
Jay,
What?
since we're on this Pilsner thing, like I think Beck's is a good introductory. I would take Urquell over this but a lot of people don't like the stronger ones. But I do really like this. But can I plug the best Pilsner I've ever had while we're here?
I don't see why not.
The Pinkus Urpils, unfiltered from Germany.
Oh.
I absolutely love that beer. So if anyone wants to try an unfiltered Pilsner, I highly recommend this one. It changed the way I think about Pilsner.
Oh, that's a great beer.
Absolutely loved it.
That is a great beer, no doubt about it. Okay, well, sorry for the technical problems on your end because it wasn't on my end. Eric says he fixed my audio and now the video card is full. Hey, I can't control if your video card is full.
No, you can't.
You better stop using your phone for these things. All right, thank you, folks, for watching this video production. Goodbye, folks.
Good night, everybody.